Hello, everyone. Welcome back to an interview with my best friend. Today, I am co-hosting with Josh. Josh, say hi.
Hi. Yeah, my name's Josh. I'm the host of an interview with my best friend, co-hosting with Hayden today.
Hi, I'm
It's
Hayden.
always
I'm
glad to
I'm
have him.
co-host of an interview with my best friend. I'm co-hosting with Josh today, and our special guest today we have Asa. Asa.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, I'm Asa. I've known Hayden and Josh for years. We go way back. First time I met Hayden was elementary school.
Yep.
Josh, did we meet? Was it middle
you in
school or
North
high
Pines?
school? Yeah, I think it was
Okay,
middle school.
yeah,
then.
it would have been middle school. I think.
Yeah.
We probably had fucking Mrs. Chapman's science class altogether.
Yes, we
Yes.
did.
Oh.
Yes, we
Oh
did.
my God.
Oh, so good.
Okay, so for those who don't know on the podcast, Asa is the very first friend that I ever made when I moved to Washington. The very
Yes.
first one. And I always love telling this story because it's the best. So I was brand new to fourth grade, and I was, the new kid in class. Nobody knew. I came in not at the start of the school year. Like I came in kind of late, and I was just standing there in the classroom. And then this little kid comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" "I'm Asa." And I was like, "Oh, hi." And
Yeah,
instant friends.
that's right.
Amazing.
So I've never forgotten Asa just rolling up to me and being like, "Yo, what's up, new kid?"
What's up, dude?
That's when I knew, like, right off the bat, like Asa's a good guy.
I appreciate that. I remember in that moment, quite honestly, from what my parents taught me growing up is that if you ever move schools, you have to try to make friends as fast as you can because it's just going to help you. And for some reason, I just remember when you came in, I was just like, oh my goodness, friend.
Well, dude, thank
That
God,
one needs
honestly.
a friend.
Yeah. Thank God, honestly, because like in our class, I could have ended up with like any of those. Like there were so many like bad kids in our class, like
there was
some
there was also
baddies.
there's this guy, I don't remember his name, but I clearly remember him being much older than everybody, who's held back like 3 times or something like that.
I remember him. His name was Brandon.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dox
him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dox
Yeah.
him with it. I do know his last name, but I'm not gonna say it.
Wow.
But yeah, I have like a pretty vivid memory of like, all that stuff, like
Yeah.
everything that went down in that class, all the shenanigans that we got up to.
Okay, we got in trouble for the funniest thing. Little side note.
Yeah.
So we were wondering on how to pass notes in class. And so what we did, we had these markers, right? And so we would chew off highlighters. We would chew off the end of the highlighter because there was a little bump. You chew it off, and then you dump out the inkwell. And then you just crumple up the note. And we thought we were sneaky. This is so dumb. So Digivani, our teacher, would just be looking at us like, and we're sitting there like, yes. And we crumple up the note, cap it, and then throw it.
Like, picture this. The teacher, bless her heart, she's amazing, Mrs. Digivani. She would literally watch us meticulously pull this like end out of this highlighter, shake out the ink in front of God and everybody, roll up our message like a freaking note in a bottle, and then shove it in the marker, close it back up, and then chuck it literally like 20 feet across the room. Like,
See,
hey, Asa, can I get a highlighter?
Yeah.
See, I thought you two were at least going to be like next to each other, so it'd be at least like discreet.
No, we got moved away from each other.
Yeah,
we got in trouble a lot,
almost instantly. Another thing that I got a pink slip for was me and Asa thought it would be a great. I don't know if Asa got a pink slip for this, but I definitely
had
did.
8 pink slips.
So did you get a pink slip for the swing thing that we did?
Oh, what thing? Which one?
Okay. Remember when we had a crush on those girls and they were like on the swing and while they were swinging, we'd
run under.
Yeah, we would run.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that too.
Okay, yeah. So what happened was these girls would swing on the swing, and they would swing like as high as they can and as fast as they can, and then me and Asa would sprint towards them, and then just at the last moment, we would dive under them and slide because it's a gravel, so it's really easy to slide. Yeah. And so
we're a liability.
Yeah, honestly, we were. And then amazing. I can't remember. I think we got in trouble for playing Pokemon during recess.
I think so, because I don't. Game. Well, yeah. Not only that, not only was it exposing us to animals beating the crap out of each other, but I don't think we were allowed to have Game Boys and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was stupid. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if we were able to like articulate ourselves a little better back then, we could like, hey, this is my time. Like this is
Like, this is my time. You have your time when we're in there.
I'm on break.
This is my time.
Yeah.
This is Pokemon time. I have to partake in my blood sport. Thank you.
And then I think another pink slip I got was one of the notes that I passed to Asa through a highlighter. So this was like
a gun.
Yeah, it had a gun on it. So I got 2 pink slips, 1 for passing notes and 2 for drawing a weapon.
Mm. He was like, so mad.
Violence.
I didn't get in trouble for this. He got in trouble for this.
Yeah.
Because he drew it.
Yeah.
And that was the end.
My dad was like, what the fuck, Hayden? Like, what's wrong?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I think we were goofing around, and it was just a picture of like a stick figure shooting something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, there was no malicious intent. There's never been any malicious intent.
No.
And that's the thing. I think that's why it made Hayden in that moment so mad. Not only because he was the only one getting in trouble and I wasn't, but there was no malicious intent.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And plus, you guys both know me. Anybody that knows me knows this. I cannot draw for shit. So a stick man is like the peak of my artistic ability.
That's like your fucking like Mona Lisa is right there. That's a stick man. That's the best you can do.
Exactly.
That's your peak.
Yeah. I've come to terms with it. I will never achieve greater than a stick man, and I've come to terms with it. It's fine. But yeah, so, and also it hasn't changed in quality since 4th grade either. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, me neither.
So
same. Yeah. That is the artistic ability that I wish I had that I don't have.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a little history on me and Asa. And then of course
I don't think I've laughed that hard in a while. Like the mental image of you two just yeeting fucking highlighters across the room at each other with notes in them is just so funny.
The funniest part to me is how like discreet we thought we were. Like, oh, okay, wait.
It was like, it's comparable to like when you're playing Call of Duty and you're in Nuketown and you throw a tomahawk across the map. And like, you think that you're being all like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to get someone with this. It was comparable to that because we would just be like,
oh, what was that?
You in the back. Yee.
It was great.
Oh, so good.
Good times.
Oh my God.
Well, so we have some questions prepared for you, Asa, if you're ready.
Beautiful.
So for those who don't know, Asa is streaming on Twitch. Asa, where can people find you on Twitch and all social medias and stuff? Let's just get the plug out of the way.
Yeah, get those plugs out of here.
Yeah, so I'm trying to grow, as any Twitch streamer is. I think where I hit the best is IRL content. So I do I do fishing streams, gaming streams. I just talk. I talk. And a lot of people seem to enjoy that. So I made it simple. The username's easy, twitch.tv/Aloo404. That's on all my social channels. So you can find that on YouTube, Twitter. I have an Instagram. I also have a TikTok. So everything's Aloo404.
Okay.
Do I upload to those? No, but I have it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody please go follow Asa, especially if you love listening to us talk. Asa's just like, basically, like he could very easily be on this podcast as a co-host. Like,
every single day.
Yeah.
Hey, that'd be sweet.
And that's why that's the reason we had you on. One, because like it's called An Interview with My Best Friend. So obviously you fit the bill, but also we know you love to talk. So,
oh wow, nice, well put.
Yeah, that's not.
You're a Twitch streamer. You obviously love to talk.
You know,
that's
you.
Not
I'm only here because I like to hear my own voice.
He's like, fuck
Thanks.
hanging out with my friends. I just want to hear myself talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ace, I have to ask, what made you start streaming?
Well, I'm losing hair and I need money.
Okay, so please support Ace's channel so that he can buy some Rogaine.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as you can see, my hairline's it's running away. It's bad. No, like the primary
retreat.
That's right. Well, they're being forced out, you know. Maybe there's oil on my head still because I haven't, you know what I'm saying, we're liberating. But I'm streaming because I love people. I love meeting new people all the time, and it's so genuine on there. I'm gonna put that. It is not. There's a lot of pog. There's a lot of lulz. There's a lot of making fun of me and all sorts of things. But shooting the shit is part of my channel, and I love it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I was gonna bring that up because that's something that I've noticed that's pretty unique to your channel, especially your Discord. So for those who don't know, he's got a Discord for his like streaming stuff, and it's basically just all of his followers shitting on him constantly. But that's like the way that it's like a friendly kind of thing, you know. It's not malicious at all. It's just like what they do. It's so interesting because it's like, oh my god, it's fucking brutal. But that's just how it is. Like I love it so much.
It seems like there's a line when it comes to like the line that I've drawn. Like it can't be. It's just little things. It's just jabbing at each other here and there. Like fine, yeah, you guys can jab at me, but that's kind of how I really enjoy that kind of thing with just general like friends in general, like you two, right? Like I'd like to shoot the shit whenever we can, but it's not like personal. We can just like do little things. You know, you were playing like Little Nightmares 2 or something, and it was like the part where like the hand was chasing you and you just kept dying repeatedly, and the whole chat was just making hand puns. It was amazing. It was just so good. I was like, these are good, these are quality people. Good, these are good people. These are men of some stature.
Yeah, I love that dynamic. I think it's really interesting because you don't really see that. Like I feel like a lot of streamers, they get too caught up in trying to keep it wholesome, and like you know, they try to like demand that respect, whereas you earn that respect, you know. Like you said, you draw that line. I feel like you don't really have to draw it. I just feel like, you know, you just have a good relationship with your followers.
I try to, but some people don't have that like that knowledge of social situations, so you really have to draw it out to them. Yeah, especially recently, you know what? We'll go into that once we hit that topic, because I could talk all day about
I mean, we're already there.
Everything.
We're already there. Just let her rip. Let's go.
So one thing that I think is extremely important, and kind of bouncing off what Hayden is saying, is growing an audience on Twitch is more than just statistics, because a website that I suggest every single Twitch streamer uses is twitchtracker.com. So why do you want to use Twitchtracker? You can see what categories garner the highest audience ratings, like what games will drive the most traffic. Now, it's not about the most popular game. It'll just show, like it could be an older game and not just a new release. And it gives you a breakdown. So that's cool. You get a statistical view on streaming. But you also need to just interact. Like the whole point of Twitch is interacting with chat. Yeah. Unless you're like in the top echelon, and you're like in the top 3 of something, then people are going to come to you because you're really good. Other than that, you are competing against hundreds of thousands of people that are just playing a game. So why did I take up IRL is because I want to talk to people. Like the whole point of streaming was that I would hop into other streams and see people just play the game and like look at chat for a second and then just like maybe not respond, or they'd say like one thing. I want to be there in the crowd with people. Whenever I play a game called VR Chat, dude, it's so easy to just get so many people around me, because I'm animated. I talk like like I'll just reach out and like grab somebody. If we're bouncing shit off each other and people are joking, I'll grab someone random and then just start talking to them. And some people hate that.
Yeah.
But so a lot of times it works and they'll just start walking with you in a group. So it's kind of the same thing with streaming. If you start interacting with individuals, now it's easier when you're a small streamer. Definitely, because you can watch chat, and even if it's going somewhat fast, you can still pick out. You can kind of cherry pick.
Right.
When you're big, it's very hard. It's completely different. I don't know what that's like. And you basically, the most important thing on Twitch, it doesn't have an algorithm to push your stream out there unless you're hitting the front page, which is rare. You're gonna need to gather an audience from another platform and bring them to you. So whether that's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all those other, TikTok, exactly. You want to gather an audience from there and bring them to you in some way, some fashion. So you want to diversify yourself, but you don't want to be a jack of all trades. You need to really hit it hard on a few platforms.
Really have to have like that, and you really have to have like that one like sort of like it thing that like keeps people coming back to you. Like yours, like you are like, I've seen your streams, you're very animated, you like keep a close eye on the chat, and you pretty much respond to almost every like chat like in the stream and everything, and you're just also just very entertaining to watch play games.
Thanks.
Like there's a lot of people who like do that, but like finding those people and like making sure you're one of those people, because those are the kind of people who are going to grow an audience quicker, and then like keep an audience retention too, like keep people coming back to the streams and everything. And that's just so important. And like
collaborating with your friends. Like that's one thing that I had to learn. Like, okay, it was about me streaming, but man, like my friends streaming, why don't I talk to them and like
streaming with other people makes it, in my mind, so much easier to stream, because you're talking to someone then. Like you have somebody that you're like talking to and like shooting the shit with, and then like you can also like read your chat and everything. Like it's so good.
Well, so
it makes everything so easy.
I think when you guys do get big, and I'm saying when, not if, because you guys you guys are both.
That's nice.
I feel like the more that I watch the both of you stream, the less that I consume other creators, for example, like the big, people that I watch on YouTube. I don't have time to watch them anymore, and it's really about like when I see that you guys are streaming, and if I have the time, I will make the time. I'm taking like a vested interest, and I think that the paradigm is kind of shifting in that way. But I think when you guys get big, you could kind of do one thing that I really like about Asa's Discord channel is he has a subscriber only chat. So I'm sure that
to drive an audience in there.
Yeah. I'm sure that you guys could very easily set that up on Twitch to where, when you get that flood, that huge waterfall of chat, you're really only going to see the subscriber chat, and then you can still, it's going to be a lot slower. You could still interact a lot. And then if you just like, once you become a monster on Twitch, even that subscriber chat will probably be too much. So good luck. But,
what I've heard is that the average viewer will stay in your chat for 2 minutes. So it's an attention span kind of thing. So if you're on a subscriber only chat, I think I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard thing because people want to see their message on screen. If you have a chat box, people want to be heard. So I'm actually kind of against a subscriber only chat personally. From what I've seen from really big streamers, there's a couple people that keep it on subscriber only. I totally understand because the subscriber only people are generally really nice. They're not randoms. But this other guy that where it's kind of chaos,
control you and everything.
Yeah. I kind of want to feel the chaos a little bit, feel how that is because of the fact that I respond to the trolls. Like I will highlight you and put you on a podium and like, let's go. Let's talk. It's more fun like that way. Because if someone's coming, like you're trying to break me down here. Okay. What do you got? Like, what are you in my position? Do you know what I'm doing? Like, it's really fun. Like that discourse is a good time, but my goodness, I think Hayden, you said it well, where it's shifting into that kind of deal where your attention span is going towards more of this kind of content. I think finding more time is so hard for me. I think it's hard for all of us as we get older. A lot of the content creators that are getting big and that are in our position are around our age.
Yeah.
But we're running out of time because a lot of us are holding a full-time job. Some people, honestly, I'm not going to lie, they're sitting there on unemployment just trying to do their thing. But, you know, maybe they're trying to get back on their feet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they're actually utilizing it as it's supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, holding a full-time job that I'm doing and then streaming so late, I thought that I wouldn't garner the viewership that I have right now streaming so late, but it actually shifted in a more positive way because a lot of people are night owls. So
I've noticed that too, because like I normally start streaming at like 9 o'clock also. But like, and I thought like I wouldn't have as good of numbers as when I started streaming last year, when I was doing it during the morning and the day and everything. But it's like, it's really just what you said. Like anytime that I stream during the day now, it's like no one. But anytime I stream at night, it's like a whole bunch of people. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. Like even being 3 hours behind you guys, it's easier for me to tune in because like for example, Asa, you start streaming at 10, that's 7 p.m. for me. So I could very easily, you know, I could very easily do that, you know, just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna tune in, and then, you know, maybe like I'll just like fall asleep, you know, and just have Asa up there, like, you know, like
plus what works out well,
cuddling my laptop.
my streams normally end at around 11, and that's only an hour into Asa's stream, so I have the option to raid him all the time.
He's done it too, and man, that's very kind of you to bring people in. See, the thing is, because we have a different stream structure, it's always fun to see like who stays and why. Yeah.
Well, so one thing about like going back to making time, I did want to. I'm gonna jump ahead in my question list a lot, and so you just talked about how off podcasts, Asa mentioned that he's working from home. So I was wondering, with you working from home and streaming from home, how does that work? Like, do you like that? Would you rather be working in an office setting? Do you find yourself like getting bogged down being at home all the time?
I love this question. So in the beginning, when we were sent home, so this was last March, when we were all sent home to work. It was because I'm such a people person, and I feel like I'm a mix of introvert and extrovert. Like I can go out with people I know all the time, but I need days where I like recharge. Well, that's kind of shifted a little bit because a lot of people, like, I wish I had an office to where I could separate my work and home, kind of, you know, where if I were to like shut that door to the office, that's it. That's the end of work. Well, no, this is my room that this is all taking place in. So it's not that hard, actually, because
I have a pretty nice looking room there. It kind of looks like my room a little bit.
Yeah. So check it out. So right in the back here.
Oh, wow.
I got the fireplace, right? And then I actually got my food like right here, but like, like the ceiling's like really low. Yeah, it's meant for people like your height, Hayden. So it's really hard. Yeah. So when you're like 7'8" like me, I mean, that's why I'm missing all the hair, because I scraped my head on the ceiling.
You just keep bonking your head up there.
Yeah, it's hard, man. No, but I'm just playing.
And then, you know, that this candlestick right here, it's kind of low a little bit. Like the candles are a little bit low. So do you ever like walk near it and like accidentally hit your third leg with it, like when you're walking around?
Yeah.
So
so
you're
now
just
it's not really a third leg. It's kind of like a quarter leg.
Massive swinging.
So, yeah. So it's rough. So you can't exactly get EMTs out here. So back to the work from home deal. It's very easy for me to handle all of this. I don't feel bogged down because I've worked so hard to get where I am in the company I work for. So it's very low stress. I guess that also comes down to I just know what I'm doing regarding everything. I just throw my headphones on, just throw some nice music. I give myself an hour and a half after work. That's why I stream at 10. I could do it at 9 because I get off at 8:30. But I need time to myself, and I do leave my room. Actually, I actually leave this little den of mine to go sit outside, just have a drink and just like cool down from the work environment.
Okay.
And it's so easy to set up all this stuff. Just throw a camera on and turn my room lights on, throw the green screen, and I'm ready to go. Thankfully, I like getting all that the hard stuff set up first, which is like the streaming program and the profiles and all that. So now I just go on my Stream Deck, I click start now, and I'm ready to go.
Wow. Yeah, I was wondering about that because last year I was working from home for a little bit, like when they sent me home, which is, you know, it was an interesting dynamic because, you know, being in the Navy, it was like a lot of our job is centralized around being at work. You know, we have to do like training and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So then when we were teleworking, it was kind of weird because like all we can do is admin, you know, and like, you know, paperwork, like whatever we have to do. And so a lot of it was just like us kind of fucking off, if I'm being honest. And then, you know, I went to language class to sharpen my skills a little bit. And that was also from home. And I just remember like I was itching so much to just get the hell out of my house because I was in the same situation, you know. This is where I sleep. And then suddenly I'm working here, I'm going to school here. And so it kind of turned, I'm really glad that it worked out for you, honestly, because for me, this turned into a hostile space where I didn't want to be in my own room. You know, I didn't like, I would of course like sleep here, but it's only because I was so exhausted, like socially and like just otherwise. And, you know, I really felt like pent up and trapped. So yeah, that's why I wanted to ask, because I just know that everyone has had a very different, but also same experience at the same time.
So, you know, that pent up, like I need to get out, that kind of feeling. I haven't had that for so long. And the reason being is I found I found hobbies like fishing, for instance. When I go fishing on the weekends, like my roommate, he's also one of my best friends from middle school. His name's Trent. I don't know
What's
if
up,
you guys.
T?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember him. I think Hayden does. He's a great guy, but he's teaching me how to fly fish. So it's something I can look forward to on the weekends, and that really just like, man, that separates everything for me. I would usually get that feeling of like, I need to be social. I need to go out. I need to hang out with somebody. But I don't know. As I'm getting older, like I'm not even that old, but I swear to God, like the simpler life of just going out and doing like fishing, like just sitting on a chair, even if we find like a weird rock like that I can put my chair on, like on the river, and I'm just like, oh yes, this is life. Like I love this. I'm like, oh boy, this is me right here. So that ability to de-stress, this is not hostile anymore. It's very comfortable.
That's good.
That's good. Josh, how have you?
I've definitely become more of a hermit over the past year because like I've still gone to work through the whole panorama and everything. And like it's just working in like a pharmacy, a retail pharmacy for sure, really lets you see the worst parts of every person. Because normally at a pharmacy, you are the last stop before these people go home from like a whole long day at like the hospital or the ER.
True. And
it's just like also medication prices are stupid expensive. Like every time I tell somebody that their insulin is $135, I want to die on the inside.
Yeah, that's so hard.
It's just like, and that's just made me not want to be out and around people as much anymore, which is that's fine. Like it's fine. I'm not like upset that I'm more of a hermit now than I used to be, but I still have like my people that I can be around at the drop of a hat, like no matter what, like Hayden, Wyatt, Lauren, Becca, obviously. I fucking live with her, so that makes sense. Don't shake your head at me.
I just don't know why I needed to be included in the list right here.
Yeah, this past year has definitely made me into much more of a hermit than made me miss like the old outside world. I
think one regarding the outside world, one thing that's very nice, like that's come of the pandemic, I really enjoy. I enjoyed wearing a mask. where I'd go.
Oh yeah.
Once I got
Same.
vaccinated, like I don't wear my mask anymore. But I really enjoyed that because it gave me kind of an insight into how, like, you know, Japan operates, for instance. Like people just do that anyways.
Exactly.
And it's kind of nice to see that, but it's also kind of weird to see all the hatred towards like being healthy. But I can understand like other people's perspectives, sure. But it's also really nice not to have to wear a mask, only because I'm comfortable. That was like a comfort for me, right? Because I wasn't used to it. But it's nice to see everything going back somewhat to normal. I'm kind of skeptical now, honestly. It's really neat to see like my perception of like everybody in store now shifts to people who are sick. Now I'm like, well, wait a second, that guy's coughing all over stuff, or that kid's picking his nose, sneezing and coughing over everything. Like it's neat because now I'm watching for that. It's gonna help me like in the future because
for sure, yeah.
Because those aren't things that we looked for.
No, not at all.
I know for sure every flu season now that I'm working in the pharmacy, I'm going to be wearing a mask because like, I didn't get sick at all like last year while wearing the mask. And normally I get at least like a cold during flu season. I never get the flu, but I at least always get like a cold or something like that. And I didn't get that. So I'm like,
get your flu
still
shot.
Around people. I'm still around people, but I'm wearing a mask.
Yeah, I didn't get sick until for those who don't know, the military hasn't been wearing masks at work ever since May. Maybe even earlier than that. I don't exactly remember, but I didn't get sick until I started not wearing a mask at work, because then, you know, no one's wearing a mask at work. Everyone's vaccinated. Those who aren't vaccinated, though, they still have to wear a mask at work. Which is why, you know, the military is really pushing everyone get the vaccine so we can all, you know, go back to business as usual. But then, you know, being back at work, no mask, we're all back in the petri dish of life. And then I did get sick, you know, because it's like Josh said, I hadn't been sick for like a year and a half. So then it all caught up to me, and then I did get sick. You know, I didn't have
hit you like a truck.
I didn't have COVID, obviously, but I was put on my ass for sure. Like I had to take a day off, you know. But I feel like that's totally normal, and it just, you know, it's stuff you don't really think about. But I totally agree. Like now when I'm in public, I'm like, oh man, like who has touched this door handle? Like hundreds of people.
It's like I constantly need hand sanitizer everywhere to just wipe down like everything.
I have it in my car now. I never used to do that, and now I have.
Me too.
Yeah, now I have a bottle of hand sanitizer in my car.
Yeah, just take Clorox wipes everywhere you go and just grab all the handles with those.
Yeah. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to get like a utility belt, and like we need to like fashion these massive holsters where we can have those like packs of those tubes of Clorox wipes.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, remember guys, when this podcast just blows up, merch.
And we're gonna walk around like this. We're gonna walk around like this, like this town ain't big enough for the two of us, and then we're gonna like, whip out our Clorox wipes. Like,
remember those dollar store squirt guns that had the little plastic tube that you would have to like peel out? You just fill that with hand sand. You just
well, so
somebody's like coughing at you. You're like, no, bad. Stop.
No.
Very, very small tangent. But last time I was on deployment, we were just chilling. We were watching the movie Selena, which is about the, you know, super famous Chicana singer. And there's this one scene where this one cholo, he's got this hot sauce holster on his belt. And so he just like unclips it and like whips out a bottle of Cholula. And I was like, holy shit, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And back at that time, I thought that I was going to be going on deployment on that same vessel again. It didn't end up happening that way, but it doesn't matter. So I actually ordered a hot sauce holster off Amazon, and now I have one, and I plan to take it with me on my next deployment. Yeah. So
perfect.
For those who are watching on video, I'll post a picture of it right here on the screen so you can see. But because while I was waiting for deployment, I was in quarantine, and my mom was like, "Hey, can I get a picture of you in uniform?" And I was like, "Mom, I'm waiting for deployment right now. All I have right now is my we call them poopy suits. You know, the coveralls." I was like, "All I have is my poopy suit. I hope that's okay." And she was like, no, that's fine. So it's a picture of me on a balcony, you know, because I'm in quarantine in a hotel.
Yeah.
In my poopy suit with my hot sauce holster, and my mom was like, "What the fuck is that?" But so we need to fashion those for Clorox wipes now.
Perfect. That I'm sure that'll be easy.
Yeah. We need to get on
Asa,
this.
probably I think this is our last question about streaming stuff.
Sure.
But what's your favorite game that you've played on stream?
Favorite game that I played on stream? My goodness.
So I think my favorite game that I've watched you play is that one where you're like the guy that's dancing and you got to press the buttons, like the arrow keys. And it's like,
was that recent?
It was within like the last few months. It's like, you know, you're like that rapping guy and it's like, you know, yeah. And you're like rap battling people. And it's like, beep,
yep.
And you're like pressing all the buttons. Oh my God. Yep. That looked so incredibly difficult. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy.
It was. I'm trying to remember the name. I can look it up really quick. If you guys want to cut this out really quick.
Oh no, yeah, well, we could edit it out. It's fine, or we could leave it in. I mean,
we could edit it in post.
Yeah,
the video gets to have it.
Yeah, the video
gets everything. The video sees all.
The YouTube sees all the dead air, all the you looking stuff up. But the audio, we'll cut this out for sure.
Yeah. Audio only listeners, sorry. Go watch the YouTube video.
That's what it was called. Yeah, it was called Friday Night Funkin'.
Oh yeah.
It really kind of hails back to the Newgrounds era. Back in the day when we used to, you know, middle school, we were playing addictinggames.com, Miniclip, Newgrounds, all those things that we couldn't access because they were blocked. But we would go to like the German website to play
stick figure.
There's a workaround. There's always a workaround.
Yes.
Yeah. Homestar Runner.
Oh my goodness, dude. Yes, so good. My favorite game on stream, after kind of thinking about it for a little bit, Nier Automata. I love the Nier series. It was so good. I played Nier Replicant, which was the prequel that came out a little earlier. And that just gave me a foundation of the story of what went into Nier Automata. The reason why I enjoyed it so much personally wasn't necessarily how popular it was with everybody, but just because it goes into consciousness and what exactly, like, what is the soul and why are these robots able to think on their own? What are they developing along the way of consciousness? And
so what is the premise?
Why do they know?
I haven't heard of this.
So Nier Automata, goodness. That's a loaded question.
Premise of Nier Automata.
That's a loaded question.
Did I just open a can of worms here?
Well, it's just very complicated. From what I've learned, to give you kind of a gist, you start out the game as these robots that were built to protect humanity, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody trying to play it, but you have a base on the moon, and everybody there is a robot. You get sent down to Earth because you get a distress signal, and you along the way on Earth, by doing missions and going to different camps and speaking to people, you find out that these robots down on Earth are acting like human civilization, but you haven't seen any humans aside from the camps. So it's a little odd. So you kind of along the way you figure out history and lore and what's going on and why. And it goes into a lot of philosophical questions.
It's very much a thinking man's game.
It really is. And that's why it was really fun for me, because I love diving into that stuff.
Yeah, I'll have to check
that's
that
a
out.
game that I've definitely wanted to pick up. I just haven't, for no particular reason, just haven't. But it's always like, since it came out, it's always very, very much interested me to like pick that one up and play it.
For sure.
Because it just looks so interesting. The artwork is very, very interesting and unique and looks really cool. And the gameplay also just is very engaging looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it, and I'll probably watch Josh play it hopefully soon.
Maybe. Maybe.
Eh?
I'm still grinding through my Nuzlocke.
That's true. Just to date
Nice.
this podcast really quick, Josh is
Things
still
taking years out of my life.
Josh is still nuzlocking.
I think I looked at the amount of time that we spent on that Nuzlocke, and I've done all of this on screen. Like I haven't done anything like off screen. It's been 49 hours that we've spent on that Nuzlocke.
Whoa.
Wow.
And I have like 2 or 3 hour streams. Like that's about all we do for stream wise. So this Nuzlocke has been a
Holy
lot.
cow.
And
which
it's been
which
pain.
Pokemon version is it? What are you
Soul
nuzlocking?
Silver.
So you're nuzlocking dude, Soul Silver is actually pretty difficult.
Yeah.
The fact that you're
think I've
nuzlocking
lost,
Soul Silver.
Nuts. He's nuts.
Like, I beat the first elite. I recently beat the first Elite Four because you can go over to whatever the original country is. I can't remember if it's Kanto or Kanto.
Yeah.
I'm not a true fan. But I just unlocked like being able to go over there and fight like all their gyms to get to the Elite Four again. And going to be starting that up again soon because I had to take a break from it because I have experienced so much pain from that Nuzlocke.
Yes.
I think I've lost at least 2 dozen Pokemon.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So Asa, I don't think like you know this, but I started with like the first gym. The first gym is Faulkner. He's just a fucking bird type trainer. I had one I had caught a Ghastly in like the Bellsprout Tower that's in that city. And he went to my box because I had a full party. Well, little did I know, I was going to wipe my whole team against Faulkner.
Oh.
So I was like, shit. So
Holy
here I
shit.
am having to grind a Ghastly that's level 4 up to a level where he learns a move that'll actually be able to affect his normal typing birds. It was a process.
Oh my
it was
God.
a definite process.
That's brutal.
But at least I was able to use Ghastly against that goddamn Miltank that I fight later.
Isn't like normal attacks not effective against Ghost?
True, but Ghastly doesn't learn a non-ghost move until level 23 when he learns Payback.
Sweet.
Which is only a move that works if the other person is attacking you. So
yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was really rough.
Wow, so 49 hours, that's a lot already. Quick rant. This just reminded me because you talked about Pokemon, you talked about hours. So I put about 900 hours into Pokemon Emerald. And then
great game.
One of my dipshit siblings deleted my game.
I remember this.
I'm still mad about it. And I'm not going to name drop because I'm benevolent, but I just want you to know, whoever's listening to this, I'm still mad. Fuck you. Because I had
900 hours. You had to have like Rayquaza at that point. You had to have had like.
I
He had more than that.
I
probably had shiny.
Everything is level 100 at that point.
Everything was level 100.
Like shiny Rayquaza or something like that.
Didn't you like favorite like Ninetales or somebody? Didn't you?
Yeah.
There was a Pokemon you loved. I'm just trying to remember what it was.
I still favorite Ninetales. My Ninetales was level 100. My whole team was level 100. I remember I battled Asa one time on the GameCube.
Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, Coliseum. And I had a Suicune that I had traded from when I was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
3rd grade. I traded and I got a Suicune from somebody and I had it in my Emerald game and fucking deleted, gone forever. I was so mad. I was so mad.
God.
I still am. So that's my Pokemon rant.
That's fair.
I'm
that's
so
a
sorry.
completely fair Pokemon rant.
So,
I understand your anger.
And this actually works out because now I can very smoothly transition. So we just talked about one of the deepest scars I've ever received in my life. So Asa, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is the weirdest scar you've ever gotten and how did you get it? So obviously this can be physical, this can be emotional, but yeah.
The weirdest scar I ever gotten.
Because Josh, you could talk about your scar too.
Yeah, I mine's not really weird. Mine's from, actually it is kind of weird. So
Bro, you got struck by lightning.
What?
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to talk about my physical scar that I actually have.
Do you mind if I grab? I'm gonna grab water really quick. One second.
Oh yeah, no,
that's
you're
fine.
good. Okay, we'll take a break.
But no, the actual scar that I have on my body is actually weird. So when I was weeks old, like I had like a pinched like ureter that they had to go in and unpinch and like make sure that it was all hunky dory and everything. And like they like closed like where they cut in and everything, and they told my parents
kidney.
they took my kidney and they told my parents like, yeah, that should fade as like he grows up, like it shouldn't like grow with him or anything. They're right, it did not grow with me, but I think they tied it a bit too tight, because like there's like an actual like it's kind of like more or less a love handle, because like that scar is there, like it's just like it's like there, you can grab onto my body from that like place where they cut in. It's,
yeah, like if you're giving Josh the reach around, you can just like
So I have two injuries that I'd like to bring up. When I was little,
hell yeah.
One is more funny. So we'll go with that one first. So I was watching a Lakers game with my dad, and I think I was like maybe 3 or 4. And I remember watching Kobe dunk, and I thought that was just the coolest thing. Well, after we were finished with the game, my dad went about his business. My mom was doing something. Well, I go outside. So it's about 70 degrees outside. I just remember it's very comfortable. So my skin was only burning at like, a slow rate. My dad had a black F-150. It's in the driveway and about 5 feet off the left-hand corner of the bed. There's our basketball hoop. Now the basketball hoop is lowered to about like 6-7 feet, because we thought we'd be awesome, like, because if we like barely get off our toes to dunk. Well, I get on the bed of the truck and I have the basketball, so I have it in my hands. And I remember like so on the bed of the truck, because it's the corner, I place both feet on the left and right side. And I'm looking up and I have the basketball. And I count to 3. I'm like, 1, 2, yeah. And I just remember glazing, like just right off of the hoop itself. And I just go fall to the ground and just smack. And I woke up in bed. And my mom told me that she just heard screaming outside and then silence. And she was like, ah! So that was my first concussion.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Oh my God.
The worst injury young Asa had, I was also little. I think I was 5, maybe. There was a mattress down in our basement, and there is a big piano that my mom used to have. So I was doing somersaults on this mattress. Well, so like right in front is this bench, and right behind is the mattress. Well, I did a somersault and my head like impaled itself on the corner of the bench, and I split open my head like really, really deep, and I had to be rushed off in an ambulance. And I remember being in the stretcher. They had to hold me. They had to like hold me down, because I didn't stay still. Like I was little, I didn't know what to do. And I remember feeling them like in my head, like trying to patch stuff up and everything. It's
No.
It's vivid.
Oh so that's why your hair's red.
Yeah, that's why my hair's red,
because blood soaked.
Yeah, it's blood. So I'm actually a warrior. If you guys didn't know. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Perfect. So Asa, I know that you've played D&D, correct? I believe that I have heard you say that on
absolutely.
A few streams. How much would you say that you've like played of D&D?
So I had a group last year and the year before, so about 2 years. I haven't played recently because everything kind of died off. Like people moved away, people got uninterested. I actually at one point I owned every single 5e book up until the one that that just came out. I think it was
Tasha's?
some it had to do with like a lot of unearthed arcana stuff becoming like a
really
thing.
Breaks the game.
Yeah,
but it's great. I love it.
Okay, well, we're in the opposite boat because I hated that stuff.
That's fair.
But yeah, I had those books like past tense because I gave them away, sold them off because I wasn't playing. We used a lot of D&D Beyond. Fantastic service to use.
I love it. I use it all the time.
Yeah,
For
paper
sure.
and pencil, like that's what I grew up on. But D&D Beyond simplifies that. And that's what I use. So yeah, a lot of fun. What do you ask? What are we getting
well,
into?
I have a follow-up question that I ask pretty much anybody who comes on the pod who's played D&D. What's your favorite D&D memory?
Favorite D&D memory? So my very first game, I played a cleric. All right. My backstory is really edgy because I didn't know what to do with it. So classic.
Everybody's first
cleric
character is edgy.
Yeah.
That's so you.
Yeah, I guess so. But we came across this goblin camp. And it was an encampment within a broken castle. Well, we were just going into this castle to kind of see what was going on because a note from town led us here. Classic, hey, we need help. Oh, it's a trap. Well, we go into, we go into this. Yeah. Oh, what? We didn't know. We go into this broken castle. And we're wiping out goblins left and right. Well, there's a goblin on the throne. Well, basically what I did, being a cleric, I was supposed to I specifically spec'd into healing and my deity or whatever I was just supposed to be very nice. Well, I kind of went against all that in the moment, and I basically told this goblin that if you don't you're coming with us, I'm gonna befriend you, and if you try to run, I will kill you. We'll just slit your throat.
Perfect.
You don't, so I essentially forced a goblin to be our friend, and I named him Sammy. Sammy grew with the party. The DM played Sammy through our adventures. I eventually gave him armor and a sword, and he hated us the whole time. He just hated being there, but I loved it. I loved it so much, just because at a moment notice I could just end his life like that. He just couldn't do anything. It was just so fun. It's sadistic, but this Sammy was my favorite. Whenever the party dispersed, I would just bring Sammy with me, and eventually we didn't have to hold him by the rope I had around his neck because I had a leash. So yeah,
you had him out there like Gollum.
Yeah. So the first night when we brought Sammy to our camp to just do a full night's rest, I tied him to the tree because I just didn't want him going anywhere. So he just sat there the whole time. So yeah, eventually he didn't need the rope. He didn't need the leash. He just followed around, and he was the homie.
Amazing. Oh my God. I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's
a
great.
lot of fun.
Oh man. Well, what do you think, Josh? One more question, or should we transition to the little ending?
Hey, we got one more question here, so we might as well ask it.
Okay.
I love these.
So this is just something I just thought of randomly. Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? My mom.
Oh my God. Your mom is a saint.
She's amazing. So I'll kind of dive into it just a little bit. So growing up, and this kind of inspired my love for music. She always would play the piano. Yeah. And she was really good at it, and she would perform. She has a few awards for doing so. I wish I was the age I am now when she was doing that, because I'd understand what the awards were necessarily for. I never asked, but I always went to these kind of places where she would perform well. She also opened a business for herself, so she has that entrepreneur spirit, which is really cool. She would tune pianos for all of Washington, and it was fairly successful, but she injured her hands, and she barely can use her hands anymore. It sucks. So the business had to shut down. She couldn't tune pianos anymore. She can't play piano, so that left a bit of a hole in my heart there. So regarding piano playing, I told her, and this I feel like this is wholesome. I told her one day, I will learn how to play a song on piano, and that's why I'm practicing, because I want to play her something. Yeah. But she inspires me just because through all those hardships that she's experienced, she's still going out and doing what she can, and she puts a smile on her face, and she's so supportive of others. My dad is also an inspiration for me, but he also got injured, which sucks, from a car crash, and it's something to do with his brain. Some days he's gone, he's shut off, he has no energy. Other days he's just the happiest man on earth. So I don't necessarily know where that's going. I honestly, I think unfortunately the lifespan has been shortened quite a bit from that. So any time that I can spend with that guy, I do it. I
your
love him to
dad's
death.
awesome.
Yeah. So
I remember going over to Ace's like all the time, and his parents are just some of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Just like I literally even if I could think of something negative to say about them, it doesn't exist. You know, like they always just welcome me with open arms, and there was always food and positive, you know, like they took a vested interest in my life. You know, it wasn't just like, oh,
absolutely,
this is some kid that my
they still ask
with.
How are you doing and what's going on.
Yeah. And I'm not even surprised by that at all. Like they actually took a vested interest in me. It wasn't like, oh, it's just one of Ace's friends, you know, like whatever, like they're just gonna play whatever. And I just thought it was so, like, I remember one time we were shopping with your mom and we were in the parking lot. I still remember this. And like, you know, for those who know me, like I didn't really like, I had like a lot of mother figures growing up because of like the situation with my mom. So I kind of like latched on to other people's moms, like Ace's mom, definitely Josh's mom for sure. And I just remember being in this parking lot and I had to ask Ace's mom a question, but it didn't come out like how it would normally. I literally said like, "Hey mom." And I remember that still and she just like totally, without missing a beat, she just totally, I don't remember what the question was or the answer like exactly, but I just remember that moment and she just like took it so well and just like, you know, didn't even miss a beat. And I was just like, you know, like your mom was such an important person to me growing up. And so I'm glad that, you know, they're still doing the most, because that's such the kind of people that they are. They're so amazing. So
and on that, I think what was really important, what I'm going to take into like future relationships and eventually getting married and having kids and whatnot. My parents were very poor growing up. I lived in a trailer park for a good number of years of my life before we got a house. And I had no idea what poor was, what it even meant. They always tried to get food on the table. I never remember thinking about money. It was just never a talk in our family. It like I'm just so used to, like, at Christmas it was like, you know, small amounts of, you know, clothes or maybe $5 here and there, but I was always just so thankful. So that's just so cool. It's so cool to me because now growing up and seeing and like my eyes open to all these things and the hardships, like, wow, that's a big undertaking, and they were successful.
It's always really interesting to look back at your like childhood and be like, interesting. Okay. We did not have a lot of money, did we? But they did the best that they could. And that's awesome. Because I'm able to look at that with like my family. We lived in Iowa and like we did not have much at all. And my parents were really just doing the best that they could while my dad was working full-time and doing full-time school to be a nurse and everything. And my mom was trying to raise 3 boys at home.
That's crazy.
Godspeed to her.
I feel like we have some like really amazing parents, all 3 of us. And you know, so shout out to parents. We love you.
You're doing the Lord's work.
There we go.
Well, so thanks for answering that. That was amazing. I miss your parents a lot. Tell them I say hi.
I will.
And with that, I guess the last thing is, do you have a question for us?
Question for you guys? I mean, you guys are asking me all the questions. I'd like to
just flip that in reverse.
Can I touch on like some of the things that you guys asked, or is this are we going quick?
So it's totally whatever you want. So we call this segment Uno reverse card.
Perfect.
So you can ask us anything. Like, it's all on the table.
Cool. All right. So Josh, I want to know your favorite moment from D&D. We'll start there. And then I'm going to hit Hayden too.
Okay.
So, God, I have a lot of moments from D&D, both as like a dungeon master, and I think I'm gonna.
So to specify, I want your favorite moment as a player. As a DM, I mean, you have what's going on. Obviously, it's completely different. I want to know as a player.
Wait a second. I've played with some chaotic players. I do not know what's going on in every minute.
Just make sure it's not the story you told last time.
Yeah. Okay. As a player, probably one of the best campaigns that I've played in have been with our friend Lauren Melick.
Yep.
He's a phenomenal dungeon master, and I love playing characters under him. There was this character. I was playing a bard, and I don't think I've talked about this on the pod, but we were like sent to this really like kind of like spooky sort of mansion out in the middle of nowhere, because like, some people were disappearing and like these hybrid creatures were appearing from this mansion, and we were sent to investigate it. And we investigate it. We kick the evil scientist dude out of there, yada yada yada. And as we're kind of like chasing this guy, because we didn't actually like kill him or anything, he kind of escaped. We're chasing him through this tunnel, and the monk and the barbarian that we were with, the party consisted of me, Quinn Johnson, Joseph Hall, and Becca. Joseph was the monk, Quinn was the barbarian. I was playing my bard, and Becca was a rogue that she really didn't like because she didn't roll stats like a stat higher than 14, I think.
Oh,
so like she had already told Lauren, like, after this session is done, I want a new character. This one sucks. But we had seen like mine and her characters had both seen like this like silver sort of ball at like the base of this ladder that was going back up to like the surface.
Yeah.
We both like reached for it. She got it, and I was like, now like out of character, I was like, your character's not going to be part of the campaign anymore. Why don't you just let my character have it? And she's like, fine, fuck it, whatever. And I took it, and I like attuned to it more or less. And it was this like evil creature that was just in like the silver ball. And it was like, if you want me to help you, just put me like next to you while you sleep. And I was like,
you should have swallowed it.
I put it next to me while I sleep. It disappeared, and it turns out it like melded into like my brain and was my eye, and it just turned into like this huge like thing where it's like, oh yeah, I can help you, but there's a price for me helping you. And I was just like, fuck it, cool, whatever.
I can just see the D100. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it turned like much later in the campaign, like somebody had like true sight or something bestowed upon them, and they looked at me, and my whole like interior skeleton had turned silver. And like there was only like one part of like my soul that was left, and it was where like that silver eye was. So pretty much like
it consumed you.
This thing took me over so completely. And to my actual like it was a lot of backstory to get to my favorite one of my favorite things that happened. At that point, I was like, okay, my bard has had like a very good arc.
You would play bard. That's great.
I did. He wasn't like a horny bard or anything. He was more he was more like, I'm going to talk everyone like and calm them down. Like
of course. That's what we call it. Of
course. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
But like at that point I was like, okay, he's had a like satisfying narrative arc and everything. I want to play something different. I really wanted to play a cleric. I had like this idea for a cleric that I wanted to play. And Lauren was like, that's fine. We can definitely make something work. But the rest of the party was planning, because they had seen that this creature had taken over my body. They're like, okay, we gotta fucking attack him and kill this thing that's in him. They just kind of like sprung it on us. And Lauren was just like, the skeleton leaps out of his body pretty much and like runs away from you guys, and I was left in like a little silver ball, just like that skeleton was. And it was just like, fuck, D&D is the best like, storytelling device ever.
I thought he was gonna have you play undead for a little bit.
No,
I thought
he
he
like
was gonna
took my character sheet and was like, "Nope, you're done."
I thought you were gonna say like the skeleton jumped out of your body and you were just like this pile of flesh on the floor and you're like dead.
If
Whoa.
I remember it correctly, like my eye, like the silver eye, like fell out of my body, and then like what?
Your flesh came flying off the skeleton as the skeleton was running away.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's what I was picturing.
Lauren likes
That's what I was
body horror. Yeah.
picturing.
Oh yeah, you guys were like trying to scoop the eye out of my body.
Yeah, because I'm just picturing like this big like amalgamation of random meat.
Oh no,
just like on the floor, just like
I wasn't remembering correctly. Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite moments. And it helped inspire my next character too. It was great.
Awesome. Yeah, whenever I hear anything regarding like a haunted mansion or anything like that, I immediately think the DM's pulling from Curse of Strahd. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. We're gonna fight someone invincible, low level. Let's do this.
So when I get back from this deployment next month, I got the Curse of Strahd revamped.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be running that for some friends. I'm very excited.
Nice.
So my favorite D&D memory that do you want like me as a player or me as a DM?
Player.
Okay.
Unless you primarily DM, then DM.
I do, but I've had the pleasure of like I used to do like things where I would train my friends to DM and just like help them out, get the ball rolling so that they could DM.
As a side note, my brother Ira, he got heavy into D&D and he also DMs.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So it's all share the love, provide for the next generation, that kind of thing. So like training my friends to DM, really important to me. But so as a player, I had this character, and I remember specifically, it wasn't so much something that happened to me, but I was a player, and like so. This is a topic that often gets brought up in D&D, and it's you have all these characters, and you want to know what is my character packing, so we did this thing where we all went in a circle and we rolled a D100 to determine the size of our dicks.
Oh, I took that completely wrong. I thought you meant like spell power. That was never a thought in our campaigns at all. Like nobody gave a shit.
Yep. So, we went around the whole table and we rolled for dick size. And mine was pretty like I had a pretty good roll. I rolled a 93. That's 93rd percentile. That's pretty good. And the DM was also playing an NPC, and the DM rolled a natural 1 on a D100. And so micro penis instantly, obviously. Yeah, it's just like a tic tac, bro. And then we had literally, I cannot make this shit up. Like the craziest thing happened. Somebody rolled 100 right after that, a natural 100. And
wow.
Here's the thing. We made a big moment out of this because we took turns. So somebody for my birthday gave me a D100, like that.
Oh, cool.
It's basically a ball. Yeah, it's basically a golf ball because it has so many fucking sides. And you throw this bitch and it just rolls forever. Like you have to like corner it off into like something, like a dice tray or something. So we all pass the dice tray around. We're all rolling this D100. I swear, you can't make this shit up. DM rolled a natural 1 for his dick size. The next player, right off the bat, rolled a 100.
Amazing.
And then, I did pretty well for myself with a 93. And then,
solid.
There were some other, decent rolls in there. There were 6 of us, so I think somebody rolled like a 40 or something around those lines, and we were like, haha, you have a tiny penis. And then one of them, we got around to her character, and she was like, so like, how does this work for me? Because like I'm not a dude. And we were like,
what race were they?
I don't remember, but we were like, maybe we'll just not get into this.
Yeah.
Because like what would it be at that So sorry to get crude, but would this be like depth? Like when we roll
That's
this,
immediately what my brain went to.
yeah.
Yes.
So how like is this like depth? Is it like, tightness or looseness, or like what are we dealing with here? So we just decided to just do a blanket, like this will be the quality of the vagina at this point. So she rolled and got like an 80 something, and we were like,
Hayden, I'm so glad that you tweeted the other day that your mom listens to this.
Yeah, hey mom, I'm sorry.
Oh,
any
boy.
other moms that are listening?
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so I don't know, Asa, if you inevitably tell your parents that you were on this podcast,
I won't.
Just give
I don't
them
want
a
them
warning.
listening to that.
Or they can listen, but I'll put like timestamps so they can skip. I'll be like, Mom and Dad, you don't want to listen to this from here to here.
You don't want this D&D story.
You don't want this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely put timestamps for those viewers that are a little bit more sensitive. But yeah.
Wow, that's quite the story. That's funny that you guys would be in that situation being like, all right, D100. That's so funny too that the DM would get the micro. Yeah, that's right, DM.
That's just perfect.
Yeah, that's just
because they always have all the power.
That's right.
That's just poetry in motion.
Yeah,
right there. So, man.
Do you really quick question for both of you guys? Because both of you guys have DM'd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever have you guys encountered any? Because I feel like you guys probably have a static group that you're just with all the time, but maybe not. Do you ever encounter any players that just try to min max and do like the perfect build?
Yep, there's always one.
Yeah.
How do you handle those players not breaking your game, or do you just let it happen?
I nerf them for sure.
I don't understand challenge rating, so I always make very deadly encounters, no matter who's in the campaign.
Got it.
I don't
in my
use
defense,
challenge rating.
I don't think anybody understands challenge rating. So
yeah, I don't use it. I've just played enough to where I know, like, oh, they're level 7. They should be able to handle this. And Josh, they have those encounter builders both in book and also online, so you could use those. I've used those, I think, like 2 or 3 times where I just needed an encounter, and I just was like, whatever, fuck it, full send. But yeah, at this point, I pretty much know. And if a character is gonna min max, I will punish them. Like it's like, oh, you want to play on hard mode? Okay. And then, one person actually brought it up to me. They were like, how come you go so hard on me? Like, you make me do all these checks. You always are like making me do more to prove myself in this party than the other players. And I was like, well, you're the one that decided to min max. That's why I nerfed your ability scores. That's why I make it harder for you. Like, you want to try to cheat this game to make it more fun for you, but you're not thinking about working as a team with the other players.
So that's interesting to me. So you think min maxing is cheating and a solo experience. So why? Because in my opinion, I think if someone is min maxing, it's to the benefit of the party if they're playing with the party. It depends on how you run your game. Do you run your game like Diablo, where it's just it's just loot, or is it story driven? Because I know when I would play with Ira, and I would create a character, because I don't understand min maxing in D&D because I don't have all the knowledge about it. But I'll pull something from I'll dual class, absolutely. But why would you go the length of nerfing somebody? Because you make it seem like it's always a solo experience, like they just want to go off on their own.
That's just because, like, in my experience, that's how it's been. If I have a player that's min maxing, they're trying to get an edge on the game. And as far as like, is it just loot as opposed to story? I really am good at reading my party, and I'll tailor my experience to what kind of party it is. So if I have a party full of murder hobos, it's going to be all combat, like at least one combat every session, big loot, big XP, and then enough story just to keep it rolling so that we can keep having amazing moments. And then if I have like a more chill, role play kind of party, then I really do, like, I flesh out a whole world for them and I let them explore. And you know, I like to throw in some combat in there, of course, because you can't not. And everyone loves a combat every now and then.
Absolutely.
So it's really tailored to like whatever my players want. And I always ask them too at the beginning, like I always have session 0, you know, when we're building our characters. So I'll help everyone build their characters and I'll kind of get a gauge for like what kind of character they want to play. And then I always ask them, what do you want from me from this game? You know, like, are you looking for role play? Are you looking for combat? Maybe a blend. You know, what's your end goal here? Because the 2 most recent campaigns that I've run have been homebrew. So
cool.
And I think it's really like knowing the player too, because like I've made min-maxed characters. Like I was before the panorama happened and like I wasn't able to play D&D in person for a year. I was playing a rogue ranger character that was like Gloomstalker Ranger, so they got bonuses to their initiative and everything. And I was like planning on like speccing into like the assassin archetype of rogue and taking the alert feat. That way I got another additional +5 to initiative, because I was like, they are just like this bounty hunter who is just very good at sticking to the shadows.
They're on
and just
point.
Drops motherfuckers in one hit.
Yeah,
because like the assassinate like bonus that you get, it's like
ridiculous.
If they're surprised or like they haven't taken an action in combat. And I was like, well, I want to guarantee that I get that at least once a combat by having plus fucking 9 or 10 to initiative every time I roll.
Yeah, we always made jokes about rogues, like, oh man, damn it, I only get to roll 20d6 this turn. Like,
so true.
But yeah, so in my experience, I've never had a min-maxer like Josh, where they're just trying to like hone into a character for the purpose of like a story.
I also make my like reasons for multi-classing and min like those kind of things as like narratively functional as possible.
Right. With these players that I had, it was just like, I just want to fuck shit up. And, you know, these were like the people, they're like, they could be playing the game, and if all the other players weren't at the table with them, they wouldn't be affected at all. Like, you know, they're very self-centered with their min-maxing. So, you know, someday I'm sure I'll get a player who min-maxes for the right reasons, but I haven't seen it, you know. And it's all about like,
because you haven't played with me in forever.
It's true. And it's because, you know, like I don't know, and these, it's been 2 people that I've played with, and both of them both of them have been people that have insisted on rolling their stats with me not being present, which is super sketchy.
That's weird.
It's just like sowing this dishonesty like right off the bat. It really just doesn't like rub me the right way. So it's like, fine, you know, I nerf you, you know, get fucked. Because like these characters, they literally, like we talked about how Becca didn't have a score above 14. These characters didn't have a score below 14. And I was like,
I just don't find that fun. Like,
that's just ridiculous.
You gotta have at least one low stat.
There's something sketchy going on there.
At the very least.
Yeah.
And you know, like since I'm a DM, I've been on the other side of the screen. I understand it. And so now when I'm a player in other people's campaign, I definitely, absolutely will take the back burner. You know, it's all about me pushing other players into the spotlight, letting them enjoy the game, because I'm gonna have fun regardless. I play D&D so I can see my friends every week. You know.
Yeah.
That's my level of selfishness when it comes to D&D. Like, I just want to see my friends, and D&D is a medium. And I just happen to be functional and knowledgeable about it. So, but yeah, I don't know. You know, someday I'll get a player that's, you know, doing it for the right reasons.
For sure. Well, cool.
So yeah, that was a good question. Thank you.
That was a really good question. I like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, just from my experiences, I know Ira has had a few min-max characters, but never once have we had in the party of people. It's opposite of you. We've always had people that if they do that, it's for the party. We've only had one person who essentially played like an evil character and went off to try to play his own thing. And to be honest, I get it. There's part of the RP aspect, but I personally hate playing with people that play that way, only because I want to play with my friends and party, and I want to experience a story together and build positive relationships. If someone wants to be evil partly, I can understand that, because maybe it's something to the story and there could be like a redemption arc or something.
Yeah.
But it's never been that way. It's always been one person, like, say, we've had, let me just go into it super quick, and then I know we'll probably end stuff and whatnot, but
oh no, you're fine.
We're in this battle. And essentially we brought this one guy in to said battle. Well, his character was past edgy. Like, it was just stupid, quite honestly. Like, he was socially inept. He just wanted to kill everything, and he was worshiping his blood god. And it was just ridiculous. Anyways, we're getting our ass beat and we need him there, but he just sat on a rooftop and just watched. He's like, every single turn that would come to him, he's like, oh, I just sit there and watch. And it's like one of those things, like, why are you here? Because as the DM is sitting there, I could only think that he was sitting there like, dude, this guy isn't contributing anything positive to this session at all. And we slowly, that party, we dispersed, because afterwards, because I'm very confrontational when it comes to these things. I will not send you a text or something. I'm going to just talk to you. So after that session, I quite literally got up. I was like, hey, dude, that sucked. And that was not fun. What are you doing? Like, this is not fun for anybody. And then I would get people into, I'm like, guys, did you have fun? And, obviously people are different with confrontation, but I try to highlight them and put them on a stage, like, explain why you're doing this. It's just like a troll in Twitch. Like, we were quite literally getting trolled in D&D. I'm like, how is this furthering your story? And how is this going to push us to a better point? And he just didn't have an answer. It's like, cool. So I vote we kick him, or you play something else. And it eventually, what happened is that the next couple sessions, he tried, being a little better, but it just never worked. He just wanted to kill everything and not be a part of the group experience. So I think that in D&D is extremely negative, because I know there's a way to play those characters, but the negative experience that I've had in D&D is whenever somebody plays an evil character, they just want to play a solo game. And if you want to play a solo game, I don't want you in like my game.
That's really interesting, because from what I've been told by Lauren, my characters always very much toe the line of like neutral evil. I don't know why my characters are fucked in the brain like that. But like, my bard was not the greatest person in the world. Not because he was going and sleeping with everybody, but mainly because like he was like old and dumb and just hated everybody. But like, he worked through that, like, as like that was part of like his like character's like arc and everything. Like Lauren had like all these homebrew races and everything, and like he had like this big like history between like two of the races where like they didn't really trust each other and all that jazz. And Joseph was playing that other race that my race didn't really trust. And so like a huge part of like my character's arc was just learning to like trust his character and everything. And then by the end he did. And then Joseph's character was the main conspirator and scooping my eye out. It was great. But yeah, there's definitely a way to play those characters that way. It's not like taking away from the party, because like, even though like I play those characters, like they're still present for when like the party's going through things, or they don't go completely off on their own. They always like are like, hey, you like, let's go and like do this like together. That way I have at least backup or something.
And context is really important in the situation that I'm talking about. It wasn't just like a couple sessions in. This was like 4 months in. So players have built up their characters. You have an attachment, and 2 of our player characters died. So it's just one of those things where it's just why, you know? And at that point, we were asked like, hey, do you guys want to just replay this session and still be alive and go back in time, just because it was so bad.
It's benevolent.
But,
I think so. This is kind of,
I think when it's not like their fault that their characters died, like that makes sense. Like I think I as a DM would even be like, yeah, that was fucked.
A strong gust of wind blows you off the rooftop. Now get into battle.
Yeah. Well, so I think this is like kind of going back to I mentioned I do session zeros. So this is something that I establish right off the bat. And if I'm, talking through a character with a player and they express to me that they want to play an evil character, first of all, I ask myself, is this character or is this player new to D&D? If they are, I will automatically recommend that they don't play an evil character, because usually if you're playing an evil character and you don't have the role play experience, you need that to be a functional member of the party. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying, like with these min-maxing people who just wanted to, like we already talked about how they just want their own solo adventure. So you are playing this character for all the wrong reasons, because D&D is about experiencing a story. And if you want to go off and have your own little whatever, ask me and I'll run a
power fantasy, I would say. I think
ask me and I'll run a separate game for you. Like,
if you want to have a solo adventure, write a book.
Yeah.
Or do a one shot.
Or do a one shot. Yeah.
You can do a power fantasy one shot.
And so it's only those like more experienced players where they express me like, hey, I want to be an evil character. In one situation, I had somebody ask me, do you mind if and they were an experienced player, and they were like, do you mind if I play chaotic evil? And I was like, okay, here's the thing. So then we got in a group, we talked about it. And then what happened was we shifted. So the whole party decided we're going to run an evil campaign instead of a good campaign. So then it was
I've always wanted to run one of those.
Let me tell you, it is so fucking fun. But also
nothing is safe.
Yeah, nothing is safe. If you want any sort of a tangible story, forget about it. You might as well, like, if you're going to do this as a DM, I recommend that your improv skills be top notch, because if you try to prepare anything, if you try to take any notes, that shit does not matter. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. Shit's inverted. Very fast.
Like you might be able to like go through a couple of explanations about scenery and like, whatever bullshit you've written. You might as well just like whatever skeleton of a plot you have, you might as well just chuck it out the window. It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen. So for this reason, I would really love to play Dungeon of the Mad Mage. I would love to run it. I would love to run it with a group of evil characters and just let them tirade through the dungeon, because the plot is so
non-existent.
It's literally just 400 pages of dungeon crawl.
Yeah, that's a 20 level dungeon crawl.
Yeah. And that's all it is, and it's beautiful and I love it. And when I run a homebrew or a one shot, I gut it for everything that it's worth. But I just last week I ran Candlekeep, one of the little stories out of Candlekeep, and I tried to run it as a one shot at level 10. Ended up turning into a 2-shot, which is fine. But yeah, I would like to run Mad Mage with a bunch of evil characters and just let them just fucking.
So I did have an idea regarding my stream of what we're gonna do regarding Dungeons and Dragons. My brother is gonna DM a one shot with me and one of my buddies, so that'll be live one day. I'll make sure everybody knows, but I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. He was thinking more of a I don't know, it's completely homebrew, but the island of PUBG, where it's kind of like a battle royale.
Oh yeah.
we're gonna go into that, but it's D&D, so yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out.
With like guns and stuff?
I don't think we're going to have guns, maybe, but it depends on how he crafts the world. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just going to be a duo, and we're going to go into that.
I've actually found that like running D&D on Twitch has actually been very beneficial for my channel. Like it helps with like the viewer count, and I've also gotten more followers from doing that than I have anything else so far. So
dude, any sort of IRL content is just it's the largest viewed category. Now quick touch on Twitch for you, Josh. Do you turn off your viewer count number? Because personally I do. I turn off my viewer count number and another statistic on my dashboard. But do you turn it off so that way it doesn't?
I don't, but I don't really look at it outside of like when I'm starting up like the stream.
Got it.
That's like the only time that I look at it is like when my stream is starting, because like I have like a starting screen, so like I wait for like a couple people to get in there before I like really start.
Got it. One thing, so this is a tip for any new streamers out there, before we cut to the end. When you start streaming, turn off the counter and do not get in the habit of looking at the counter, because what I ran into personally is when you start looking at that number, that dictates your mood. So if you're gonna go on and play a new game, or you're gonna stream something IRL, you're gonna see 1 or 2 people hop in and you're gonna be so happy. Like it's anything bigger than 0 is incredible, and you're just ecstatic. If they leave, you're suddenly stuck with, I'm talking to a screen. You can't ever be in that mindset that I'm just talking to a screen. You always got to think that somebody is there, because remember, videos archive. So just always think that somebody is there, and eventually someone will hop into chat and then you can bounce off them. But it's always been positive for me when I turn off the viewer count, because my mood is the same the whole way through. The only time it changes is if I'm not having a good time streaming the content that I am putting out.
Yeah.
Like the game is frustrating. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit with Josh in season 1, because he was talking about how sometimes he would be like, oh, I have 1 viewer watching. But then he realized he had like himself up on a screen on another device. He's like, oh, I'm just streaming for myself.
Yeah. That was mainly what, like, when I started streaming, like it was like I was really focused, like hyper focused on that number. But I've stopped looking at it like more and more as like I've been streaming more. And I think I am just gonna like turn it off. I think that is a really good idea.
Yeah. And that's something that like we also touched on like with the podcast too, is because like I don't look at the statistics that often. Like we did mention it like on the podcast, like I think last season, about like our demographics and stuff. But and I also don't like looking at like YouTube views, like how many people have viewed the video, because it's like, oh, season 1 episode 9 has 3 views. Nice. But instead, that was my initial reaction, and then I've had to train myself to shift the thinking into a positive thing. It's like 3 people took the time to watch a 50 whatever minute podcast.
Absolutely
amazing. It's all about your mentality and how you look at it. So with that being said, I feel like that's a really good segue. If you're watching, if you're listening, go follow Asa. I'll post a link in the description to all of his stuff. It's going to be on the screen. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for watching. Please share.
Don't forget all the rules for the giveaway.
Yeah, I'm not going to say them. I'm tired of saying them. But
I also have a giveaway too, if you don't mind me.
You want to post?
Shit.
Yeah.
Yes, giveaway.
We're almost at 400 followers on Twitch when we hit 500. So only just like 100 more. I'm giving away a custom mechanical keyboard of your choice from mechanicalkeyboards.com. You get to pick out the board, and we're gonna get you some custom cherry switches. And we'll talk about pricing and whatnot once we put that bundle together. It's going to be random. You do need to be subscribed and in my Discord to do it. And that part of that is just to drive an audience to me, but that's big. Who doesn't want a custom mechanical keyboard, right?
I do.
I think that's going to be sweet.
I want that.
So
fuck.
Also on my Twitch every month, if you reach 30,000 channel points, and you redeem an Amazon gift, I get you a $5 Amazon gift. So just by sitting there and accumulating channel points, you might get something. So absolutely, you guys should hop in. I think it's a good time. And thank you guys so much for having me. If you guys ever have something where it's not just interviewing somebody else and we just want to bounce off each other, I'd love to come back. This was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. If you ever want to come back, let us know. Well, you could be in every season. I don't give a shit. Like, please come back. This was so much fun. It was so good to catch up with you.
This is one of my favorite episodes that we've done so far, I think.
Yeah. I feel like we say that every time.
The comments.
Yeah, I know.
So for those who don't know, please go follow Asa on Twitch. Get in on that giveaway. That's awesome. get in on our giveaway. So Asa, maybe you don't know, we're giving away 2 $30 Starbucks gift cards at the end of this season.
Awesome.
So you can enter to win those. I'll post the
think
rules.
I already did.
You can enter in multiple times.
Yeah, you can get in multiple
sweet.
times. Yeah. So I'll post the rules down there. I'm not going to say them right here, but thanks for watching.
Because we say them every time.
I will say them
bye,
every time.
guys.
Bye. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Recording in progress. I hate it so much. Josh and I make a comment about that woman and what she says every time we start.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then we just like clip it and put it at the end.
Perfect.
It's everybody's little Marvel post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Just
oh my gosh.
For our comment about the evil Zoom lady.
Oh my gosh, Josh, I will totally do a like good intro right after I say this, but let me just say, I just listened to episode 2 of season 2, and that little like Marvel credits, kind of deal that you had going on. Holy shit. I was like sitting
genius.
I was laying there. I was laying there in bed listening to it, and I was just like,
throw me your flowers, please.
Like,
yes.
Because I watch the video of the podcast. I can't listen to it just like without seeing us, because I mostly just watch Josh.
And want to watch
no,
Oh,
not even. Oh, okay, fuck. This is a tangent now, but it's okay. So
this is a long post-credit scene, buddy.
It's okay. I'm gonna edit this, so I won't put this on you. I won't put this on you. So I don't watch it for me because I think it's really jarring to watch myself. When I watch the podcast, my eyes are on Josh the entire time. And then I'm just making sure that if I do watch myself, it's only to make sure that I'm not doing anything weird. But anyway,
fair.
Josh threw in this like Marvel-esque post-credits like edit in there, and I was like, holy shit. It was so cool. He did it with the music and the transitions and like oh my god, it was just so good. So I just had to give credit where credit was due. Anyway,
anywho. Gonna miss my story.
No, we'll take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll like do a transition thing and
Put the Batman.
The background music. Okay, anyway.